At that moment, no one knew that the letter in Sherlock Holmes's hand would trigger not only his final 48 hours, but the fate of all London. That night on Baker Street, the candles flickered with trembling light in the foggy streets of London as midnight struck, illuminating the sharp profile of Sherlock Holmes at 221B Baker Street. The detective's eyes held their usual cold, analytical gaze, but tonight there was something else. Concern. "Watson," he murmured, placing the thick envelope on the table. "This letter reached us 60 minutes ago. The sender identifies himself as Moriarty's heir." Dr. Watson's teacup trembled slightly in his hand. They thought Moriarty's organization had disbanded after his death. But there was still something they didn't know. What the letter said. Holmes slowly opened the envelope. The paper inside bore these lines in neat handwriting. "Dear Mr. Holmes, Professor Moriarty's plans did not end with his death. I am his most talented student, and I have come to complete my master's work. I give you exactly 48 hours. If you cannot solve my plan to stop London's heart within this time, every person in the city will have their life in my hands. Your first clue. What awaits you beneath Westminster Bridge is only the beginning. Respectfully, the Crimson Shadow." When Holmes finished reading, he looked at Watson. "The Crimson Shadow. I've never heard this name before, but judging by the writing style, this person could genuinely be Moriarty's student." "Holmes," Watson said anxiously, "could this just be a bluff?" "Watson, my 15 years of experience has taught me this. No matter how intelligent criminals are, they generally don't bluff, especially when they're making such detailed plans." Holmes left his sentence unfinished because at that moment, someone knocked on the door. The midnight visitor, when they opened the door, a young police officer stood before them. His face was pale and he was breathing heavily. "Mr. Holmes, at Westminster Bridge, we found something. Very urgent." Holmes and Watson exchanged glances. The first clue in the letter had indeed pointed to Westminster Bridge. "What did you find, officer?" "A bag, sir. Inside it, there's a strange device addressed to you, and another note." 10 minutes later, they were heading toward Westminster Bridge in a hansom cab. Holmes' mind was working rapidly. The reason for Sherlock Holmes's behavior that day wasn't just professional curiosity. This time he was entering a personal war. The discovery at Westminster Bridge in the dark area beneath the bridge. A metallic bag gleamed in the light of police lanterns. When Holmes examined the bag, a complex mechanism emerged from inside. This is a timed bomb mechanism," Watson said, holding his breath. "No, Watson, this is more complex," Holmes continued, carefully examining the device. "This is a coordination system. You see, these numbers here are coordinates of different areas of London." A second note lay beside the device. "Congratulations, Holmes. You solved the first clue. Now, the real game begins. I have placed devices at 12 different points in London that will activate simultaneously. You need to find and neutralize all of them within 48 hours. Your second clue. You think you are the master of time, but the truth hidden in Big Ben's shadow will surprise you. Time remaining, 47 hours, 23 minutes. The mystery of Big Ben. Early the next morning, they began examining the area around Big Ben. Holmes was carefully scanning the stone blocks of the clock tower with his magnifying glass. "Watson, look here." Holmes pointed to a stone block on the north side of the tower. "This block is slightly different from the others, as if..." When Holmes pressed on the stone, a small hidden compartment opened. Inside was a third letter and a strange metallic cube. The metallic cube transformed into a hologram projector the moment it touched Holmes's hand. A masked figure appeared in the image floating in the air, the Crimson Shadow. "Hello, Holmes," the hologram began speaking. "If you can see me, my plan is proceeding perfectly. This cube will show you my locations in London, but only for 1 minute each. You have only one chance for each location." "This is impossible." Watson looked in amazement. "Watson, don't underestimate Moriarty's student's knowledge of technology." Holmes was carefully watching the hologram, but what he didn't know yet was that this cube was secretly tracking him. Following the first target, the first coordinates from the hologram led them to an old warehouse by the Thames. As Holmes and Watson circled the building, Holmes suddenly stopped. "Watson, look. These footprints here, these shoes are very expensive. At least 50 pounds worth of Italian made. What does this mean, Holmes? That the Crimson Shadow isn't just an ordinary criminal. She might come from an aristocratic family." When they entered the warehouse, the sight before them was horrifying. A massive machine, dozens of cables, and a control panel in the center. Holmes. "What is this thing?" "A water pump, Watson." "But this isn't an ordinary pump. This system can mix poisonous chemicals into the city's main water lines through Thames water." When Holmes began examining the machine, he saw a timer. 45 hours, 12 minutes. We need to know the code to stop the machine. While Holmes searched around, he found Latin writing on the wall. "Veritas vos liberabit." The truth will set you free. Solving the code, when Holmes saw the Latin writing, his eyes lit up. "Watson!" This was Moriarty's favorite Latin saying. "Veritas vos liberabit." The truth will set you free. He quickly approached the control panel and began converting the letters to their numerical equivalents. VERITAS, 22 to 5 to 18, 9, 21, 19. When he entered the code, the machine stopped and a green light came on. 1 of 12 completed. "We've handled 1, Watson, but there are 11 more, and our time is running out." As they left the warehouse, something caught Holmes's attention. On the ground was an expensive handkerchief with the letters AM embroidered on it. AM. Our first clue about the Crimson Shadow's real identity. Racing against time. For the next 24 hours, Holmes and Watson raced across London. Each location had a different trap. Under London Bridge, explosives that would collapse the bridge. In the Bank of England's basement, a counterfeit money printing machine that would create economic chaos. In Buckingham Palace Gardens, a secret tunnel system targeting the royal family. With each neutralized device, they found new clues. The letters AM appeared everywhere, but the identity remained a mystery. The truth revealed after neutralizing 8 devices. The final clue led them to a surprising place, the Royal Opera House. The Opera House? Why here? Watson, one of Moriarty's greatest passions, was opera. The Crimson Shadow is probably trying to show respect to her master here. When they descended to the Opera House basement, they found themselves in a large hall. In the center stood an elegantly dressed, masked woman. "You finally came, Mr. Holmes." When the woman removed her mask, Watson was shocked. "Lady Arabella Morrison. But you were one of Moriarty's victims." "A victim?" The woman began laughing. "I was Professor Moriarty's closest collaborator and love. A.M. Arabella Morrison. I am the Crimson Shadow." The final confrontation, Holmes spoke calmly. "Lady Morrison, Moriarty is dead. There's no point in continuing his plans." "No point?" Arabella's eyes blazed with anger. "That man was my life, Holmes. When you killed him, you killed my soul too." "But punishing innocent people..." "Innocent people?" The people of London weren't capable of understanding Moriarty's genius. "Now they'll taste our pain too." Holmes surveyed the area. On the walls were control panels for the remaining 4 devices. All were about to activate simultaneously. "Watson, you handle the panels on the right. I'll take the ones on the left. We only have 3 minutes." The final seconds as Holmes and Watson ran in opposite directions, Arabella began laughing maniacally. "Too late, Holmes. These devices are more complex. Only I can stop them." "Then why don't you stop them?" Holmes asked coolly. "Because Moriarty's revenge. Moriarty would never aim to kill innocent people." Holmes's words stopped Arabella. How? Moriarty's target was always me. Harming the people of London doesn't fit his style. You misunderstood his philosophy. Arabella's hands began trembling. Holmes's words made her think. With 30 seconds left, Arabella rushed to the control panels and began entering the stop codes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All devices stopped. London was saved. Toward the end, Arabella had collapsed to the floor, crying. I betrayed him. Moriarty really wouldn't target innocent people. Holmes approached her. Lady Morrison, the only thing Professor Moriarty would want from you is to use his mind for good, not evil. You can use your intelligence for constructive work. But the crimes I committed, no one was harmed. The judge will consider this situation. Holmes's inner world as they returned to Baker Street with Watson. Holmes was thoughtful. In this case, he had discovered not only a criminal, but also a missing piece from Moriarty's past. Holmes, those things you said about Moriarty, were they true? Holmes looked out the window. Watson, even our greatest enemy was human. And I learned that humans are never completely evil. The unexpected ending. The next morning, another letter arrived at Baker Street. This time in different handwriting. Mr. Holmes, I am taking Lady Morrison's place. I have taken over the professor's organization. We will meet again soon. Sebastian Moran, former colonel. New leader. After reading the letter, Holmes looked at Watson and smiled. Watson, I think our adventure isn't over yet. A new mystery was about to begin in London's streets. But this time, Sherlock Holmes was ready.